Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Laura Letourneau, the head of the eHealth delegation of the Ministry of Health in France. I'd like to thank you, to thank our colleagues from Portugal to this eHealth Summit organization, which is a great opportunity provided by the Portuguese presidency of the European Union to share views about the eHealth state of play and future in Europe. It's an honor to me to share the state of play of eHealth in France, and together with my team, we will be more than happy to answer any question you may have about it during this summit or later. So let's start with this beautiful bridge of Lisbon, which is a kind of illustration of what eHealth is meant to be in our health system. A bridge that allows traffic of health data here. So therefore, this eHealth bridge is providing a better journey in health patterns, both for health professionals and for patients. I'd like to introduce you to what has been the trigger of the current aggressive eHealth roadmap in France, a renewed vision of the role of state as a platform. Then take you to our state of play and ambition, then talk a little bit about our main milestone, the implementation of the patient digital health space, esparzante, and then conclude by what it means for all Europe and for the European citizen. As a starting point, I would like to put this journey in the context of France. My team is the most recent directorate of the Ministry of Health and has been set up only back 2 years ago in order to embrace a new ambition for eHealth in France. You have witnessed the transformation of what is now our digital health agency, ANS, Agence du Numérique en Santé, which is involved in several European eHealth projects. Another key partner is in the eHealth transformation journey is our National Social Insurance Institution, CNAM. In France, we all serve about 70 million population. Our health system is based on a network of more than 3,000 hospitals, of which about 50% are public ones, not to speak about the medical social sector, where we have about 40,000 institutions. France has recently gained some press and credits in terms of eHealth innovation potential. And at least 3 years ago, a strategic initiative was launched with the Health Data Hub, which may inspire our future European health data space. So let's continue with the renewed role of the state, as I mentioned earlier. In my previous professional assignment, I used to work for the telecom regulatory body in France, ARCEP. Working there has been a great opportunity. First, to investigate in details about the new dynamics in place in our digital world and the theory of platforms. And second, to put in practice the theory of the state as a platform I had developed in a book I wrote with my friend Clément Berthollet about the Uberization of the state by the GAFAM and how to avoid it, or better said, how to use it as the trigger of the so-hoped modernization of the state, respecting a values framework which is not the American or the Chinese one, but which is our as European. So basically, in this model, public authorities leverage external innovations while guaranteeing democratic values in order to offer public services of the highest quality. This is the vision that drives what we do with regard to the implementation in France, and we're going to see how. We like to represent the eHealth strategy as a house. So to elaborate a bit more what it means for eHealth, this house and its basement, its surrounding and connection with the city utilities reflect how we are going to deliver trust in the digital health. It is based on our visions, the digital state platform, in place of expecting others to operate the platform of services, which would undoubtedly mean losing necessary control and trust in health services. The state is acting and providing digital platform services and common tools. In this picture, the state is providing the access to water or electricity while deciding where the roads are going to be built. However, we like to take it as a simple way as it translated the fact that we take a quite humble approach. We know about the complexity of the health sector in general and about the numerous stories of failed projects that are all in our memories. So the starting point was, to a certain extent, quite depressing to start with, to be honest. But we have energy, we have the vision, and more than everything, we try to take a step-by-step approach. So we believe that the public authorities have the responsibilities in designing services that meet health professional and citizen expectation in terms of user experience. And we embarked on that with a building block approach that allows for reachable objectives and for demonstrating quick wins. So after the failures of the past, we had to be pragmatic and demonstrate it would actually work. So we do tackle the problems from their root cause, and we defend our values, whatever it means. So it's now quite a success because more than 400 industrial French and international companies, major company, startup, active in digital health, have provided so far a formal commitment to this vision. So now it's well shared between the industrial, between the health professionals, and between the citizens. So let's see how exactly this state as a platform apply in eHealth. And let's see the French ambition. So if we look at this house in details and how we can actually build it, we need to start from its basement, build it according to the architectural rules, and connect it to the utility services. Those are key elements that must be controlled by the state, while they can actually be delivered by private or third party according to technical standards and specification defined by the states in order to have a consistent work of the existing context of the future plan of the town. This can be mirrored in what we do in terms of digital health. The house will be made of the services we provide to health professionals, citizens, and in terms of secondary use data. You can see the two walls and the roof. They will be shaped as platform in our digital world and will require technical standards from ethics to security or interoperability. The state will offer core services, utilities as agenda, secured messaging system, patient summary, e-prescription, or coordination tool. You can see there here. The state, the vision of the digital state platform illustrates that instead of expecting others to operate any platform of health services, which would undoubtedly mean losing necessary control and establish, the public authorities are acting and providing these digital platform services. So if the state is expecting to define the rules for designing the house to provide access to water or electricity and road, we assess that they can actually be provided both by public and private sector. Public authorities must ensure ethics and trust standards are met. At the same time, this scheme allows private actors to actually build the house and buildings. Therefore, this vision indicates the role of the public and the private sector. Designing architecture and rules is already a great job. We believe that only the public authorities can guarantee the ethics and trust by offering them. The ethics by design approach is based on 3 pillars: security, interoperability, and ethics that you can see in the basement of the house. They mean that they define with a large scope, including ethics is designed by the large scope, including data protection, digital ethics in terms of app development and algorithm, as well as the development of digital skills for health professionals and up to clean tech or climate change issue, for example. So these pillars of ethics by design are guaranteeing the state of the platform approach. Security pillar includes solutions as a safe data hosting, for example. We have implemented a regulatory framework for it in France that might inspire our future evolution of the GDPR regarding health personal health data. Then you can see here the roadmap back 2 years ago only. But already a key milestone achieved and certainly the full consciousness of what still needs to be done. So, for example, in 2019, we launched the eHealth roadmap and the technical doctrine that you can see here. In 2020 was the creation of the eHealth Delegation, the most recent directorate of the Ministry of Health. We are now 15 people, and we are going to be 30 people in about 1 year. In 2020, 2020 is described as the year of the citizen. As next year in 2022, we start the opening of the Mon Esparzante for each citizen, and 2023 should be the year of the convergence towards European standards. So patient summary and e-prescription, for example. The French eHealth roadmap is articulated against 5 orientations and detailed in 30 actions we are publicly reported every 6 months. You can see them on the slides. It has been instrumental to first strengthen the governance of the eHealth and lead them in the network of reference institutions. So you can see the delegation, the eHealth delegation. You can see the eHealth agency and the creation of the National eHealth Council and the intervention of our Minister, Olivier Véran. Other examples of actions that are part of the eHealth strategy are our Tour de France to meet people around the country, around the regions of France, patients, health professionals, and industrial companies facing various contexts in terms of healthcare. And another example is Genius, which is a single point of contact for startup and project owners in eHealth to guide them in the complexity of the healthcare system, of the French one, and hopefully the one of other countries as well in the soon future. And so the objective is to speed up the development of this startup. Two other simple examples to illustrate the long way to go in terms of core services and technical standards implementation are first the INS, which is the unique identifier for patients, which is being implemented at the moment. You best know how much this is important regarding to interoperability of health records, pharmacovigilance, and task automation. For instance, automatic matching of records. That's one example which is very important and which is implemented at the moment. Another example is the ECPS. Which is the path to ensure secure authentication of health professionals, which is also currently being developed in France. And you can see all the use case of COVID accelerated the development of the eCPS in the scheme of the screen. So these two examples may look as small steps, but they are in fact a major improvement, as this is the entire healthcare ecosystem which is now embracing those new rules of the game. And this allows for innovation and use case to blossom. In France, as in Europe, eHealth is considered as being a driver for the post-pandemic economic recovery. The Commission has stressed this in the EU4Health program too, and the Resilience and Recovery Plan in place is meant to accelerate the eHealth roadmap that I presented just a few minutes ago. It means always to address the medical social sectors, starting with a blank page and bridge it to the European standards. Digital use case should answer health professional requests for an improved user experience, and patients should benefit from direct access to their data and a better medical care based on higher standards. So this is the objective of our big program of 2 billion Segur de la Santé, which targets to have a secure circulation of the data between the health professional and for the patient as well. This program, Segur, is an incredible investment, and we want both to upgrade the software promise and to develop the use of the digital health. So there are 2 phases. Phase 1 to integrate key building blocks, and phase 2 to enhance secure data sharing from the professional. And we are acting both on incentive and coercive measures to secure this objective we want to see. Then, if we switch from the Mon esparzante project, My Health Space, as from January 2022, each French citizen will be granted a dedicated health space. This is conserved with an opt-out approach. So therefore, about 70 notifications are expected to be sent to all citizens affiliated to an insurance system via a mail or email to activate its own granted health space. This is how Mon esparzante will look like, a quick and hopefully easy, secure access to health data for the patients. This is a tool available to the patient to store and share his own health data to benefit from a better healthcare. It positions the patient in a different setting, as he does have access to his useful medical data in his health portal, and he is allowed to share and use his health data in his care portal with health professionals in his care team, with hospitals and institutions, and he can as well give access to his data, access and feeding to reference by public authority as digital services for a clearly identified treatment purpose. So this is the theory of the state is the platform is reflected in this project. Mon esparzante has 4 main services. First, access and feed of patient health data repository. Second, health intelligent agenda. Third, a secured messaging system, and then an app store for health. So listing this, we can understand how much and fast it should help to transform health data exchanges in a secure way. These are the first 30 applications registered. we are actually constructing with them the App Store of Mon Esparzante, defining the rules that applies to all these applications, which are going to be referenced in the store in October 2021 for the opt-out opening of Mon Esparzante in January 2022. And then here is an example of another reference app, which is a public one, and which will eventually replace the physical card used in the healthcare points of contact, and they can be used in various situations, as you can see on the slides. So in the health professionals cabinet and hospital, remotely with the health professionals and hospitals, and we portal web and application of the Santé. Then if we move to a European citizen perspective, let's have a look on the impact. We believe that a European citizen expects to move across borders in Europe and have simple access to care. In our digital world, there should simply be no question about it. It means that European Union should at least meet the objectives of the Directive of Cross-Border Healthcare. We all know that it is not as simple as it looks at first sight, especially as health remains a national responsibility. But we have collectively already made incredible step forward. We cross our fingers as friends about to go live for patient summary, a country B. We see it as a key starting point. Such projects are over the long run, and we need to ask ourselves if it is acceptable in the post-pandemic world. Europe and eHealth network have proven in those crisis time that we could think, act, and implement on tight schedules despite a restricted framework for eHealth in Europe. About the importance of smaller steps. This is basically the mantra of our eHealth delegation of the French Ministry of Health. It's not about je vois la vie en rose, but more about being pragmatic. Isn't it also that EFGS and EU digital COVID certificates have shown to all the smaller and pragmatic step to answer concrete issue we faced? So let us take the lesson from such incredible experience to address our eHealth vision for the future. If we collectively want to raise the bar for eHealth in Europe, we have to take the right steps and keep in mind that the ambition of the European health data space projects tackled during the pandemic have also proven to be an opportunity to reinforce the respect of the European rules and values. We strongly believe that this is a key driver for eHealth and that Europe must also act as a super platform. So at the end of our common journey, we will then have a European health data exchange space available to foster innovation, meeting high quality standards to enhance innovation. So again, I would like to thank the Portuguese eHealth team for their invitation, and together with Dominique, which is the co-lead of the eHealth delegation in France, and with Isabelle and with the team, we are looking forward to welcome you all in Paris, succeeding Portugal and Slovenia. So thank you very much, and wishing you an exciting eHealth Summit today. Muito obrigada, até logo.